So we will not be seeing any of the others, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'll just wait a couple more seconds for some more people to come in. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for tonight's virtual talk, the third in our Death Matter series, Hindu Traditions Around Dying, Death, and Grief. My name is Abigail Baxter, and I'm the museum administrator at the Merchants House Museum, New York City's only family home preserved intact, inside and out from the 19th century, built in 1832 by abolitionist and social reformer Joseph Brewster, and then home to the Treadwell family and their Irish servants for nearly 100 years. The Merchants House is complete with the Treadwell's original furnishings and original and personal possessions. The house offers, with unparalleled authenticity, an intimate look at life in 19th century New York. After nearly 3 years of extensive research, we are proud to announce that the museum is also a recently identified site of the Underground Railroad, allowing us to share the story of early abolition movement in New York. For the last 14 years, the museum has been fighting proposed commercial development next door that is guaranteed to cause irreparable damage to our landmark building. The city's Landmarks Preservation Commission held a hearing in March, but has so far declined to vote on the project. Before we begin, during tonight's program, feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen to ask any questions. We'll have time for a few questions at the end of the evening. And I'm delighted to welcome our presenter this evening, Matilda Garrido. Matilda is a certified thanatologist who holds dual master's degrees in bioethics and thanatology, the study of death, dying, and bereavement. She has worked extensively with the dying and bereaved. She volunteers at the Merchants House Museum in various capacities, including co-hosting our paranormal roundtable discussion program, In the Spirit of Science. In this month's program, we welcome Bindu Lanka, chaplain at Children's Health Services in Plano, Texas. Bindu Lanka is a compassionate professional with a dual background in spiritual care and human resources. Welcome, Matilda and Bindu, and thank you both for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Abigail. And Bindu, thank you so much for joining us. I understand that you have a beautiful presentation, but first I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Tell me about the work that you do on a day-to-day basis as a chaplain, how you serve the Hindu community in your area, especially around death, dying, and grief.
Thank you. Thank you, Matilda. And thank you, Abigail. And thank you for the opportunity to be here. So my day to day is not serving just the Hindu community. I work as a chaplain at Children's Health, and we provide care to people of all faiths or no faith.
Mhm.
And but I'm also provide care in the Karya Siddhi Hanuman Temple here at Frisco, Texas. And there I run support groups. I run
Mm,
support groups for loss and bereavement, and I also run support groups for parents of neurodiverse children.
mhm,
And other than that, I'm also called on during the in different hospitals when there is a need for Hindu patients, because chaplaincy is something which is very new in our
mm,
community. Traditionally, this was
mm.
provided,
Interesting.
yeah, traditionally, this was provided by extended families because it used to be a collective joint family network. So there were always aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it, people were there. But coming here, there has been more of loneliness and isolation,
Mm, mm, mhm,
and especially in the matters of death and dying, because one, the extended family is not there. The support system that was always organic and natural is no longer there. And second, they don't know who to turn to. So chaplaincy is very new, and I found it to be very fulfilling in the way I provide care, not just for the Hindu community, but for everyone, because death, while a very much part of life
Mm.
and cannot be avoided, is still something that no one wants to accept.
Right, right. Yes, after you do your presentation, I want to circle back to what you were talking about, which is the experience of the diaspora here in the United
Mm-hmm.
States, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, um, culturally, American traditions are very different to Hindu
Mm-hmm.
traditions.
Yes.
I'm pleased to hear that you are called specially in to honor those traditions in facilities that do not have a chaplain on board who understands the needs of the community. Um, and that kind of brings me to my question that I have for you is how did you come to this work? What called you here?
I think you use the word, as cliche as it is, that it is a calling. I was in HR for 20 plus years, and I've had my own issues with health and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And the work of chaplaincy is very dear for me because I don't know if it started when I was an adult 3 years back and it was a calling, or it was something that was always for me. I had lost my dad when I was 10 years old. He had come to the United States as a visiting professor, and then he went missing, and his body was
Oh,
found a month later.
oh my.
And that was my first introduction to death because I was a daddy's girl.
Mm.
And
Also, quite
then,
a traumatic experience, I would imagine, for him to be missing for a month.
yes, quite
Mm.
traumatic. And because I was a daddy's girl and I didn't understand, and there were some pictures, but I was not shown them by my family. They were
Right.
trying to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
But they were, because there were pictures of him in the lake for about a month.
Oh my.
But I felt that this is, I mean, that's my hero. Why are people keeping it from me? And when I saw the pictures, I was terrified, rightly so.
Yeah.
But I couldn't talk about it with anyone because I was not supposed to see them.
Right.
And I was worried to be in trouble.
Mm.
And so that was my first experience with death.
And so, do
And
you think that experience led you to want to shape other people's experience differently and maybe in a more supported way, open and supported way?
at that time, I didn't think of all of that. But as I said, my life was very different because as a teen, again, due to other family challenges or my own fears, I had attempted suicide.
Uh huh.
And as an adult, I had a mini stroke or a TIA or a transient ischemic attack, as it was called. And I'd lost my feeling of sensation in my body fully. And I had lost my speech for some time, all
Oh,
my speech.
wow.
And all that shaped me greatly. Faith was always a very big part of my life. But with all of that, and we are well known in the community because I work with youth and with service and everything. So in 2021, it so happened that a family was referred to us for marital. I don't want to use the word counseling because I'm not a counselor,
Mm-hmm.
but it was more because we were a community and they were just referred to us. But as I was speaking to them, I realized like I didn't know what was happening. I didn't feel qualified enough to do this. And I had prayed to God and my guru, like, if this is something I need to do, you need to show me the right path. And lo and
Mm-hmm.
behold, the next day I saw a flyer which said Hindu spiritual care. And it was the first of its kind because that's not something that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined there, and there I heard about CPE, clinical pastoral education. I will say stars aligned or stars collided. And there were other things that happened during that time in July of 2022 when I finished my 6 months course that I said, I'm resigning my job. And I'll say this, I guess I reached where I wanted to go because I wanted a corner office
Mm-hmm.
with people reporting to me. I had my dream, but I was at a very good place in my career when I said, um, something's missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I resigned from my job and joined CPE or Clinical Pastoral Education in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm here and I work here, I see how much my past has made a difference in my current. Now, as
Mm-hmm.
I sit with families facing death, that comes back. When I work with teens, I feel my pain helps me have more empathy. When I'm
Yeah.
sitting with people who are unwell, I remember my own helplessness and try to be there. So, did I think at 10 years old that this death is going to shape me? No. But today, do I feel all of that has prepared me to be who I am?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's God's grace.
That's beautiful, Bindu. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank
Um,
you.
Now, I am so excited to learn more about your culture and your traditions.
Okay, I would, if it's okay with you, I'd like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
speak about it while sharing a presentation.
please.
And let me just bring it up. So I do want to start off with saying that, are you able to see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. That this is my view, my interpretation
Mm-hmm.
of the culture, the rituals. Any mistakes or misrepresentations are mine alone,
Okay.
only because it is so varied, given the different states in India and the different family traditions. The rituals vary greatly,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a general idea which most people follow
Okay.
with some variations. So I do
Right.
want to put that this is, and I am not too, while I follow a lot of customs, I wouldn't call myself too ritualistic too. So there could be quite a few mistakes. But so this is my understanding.
Okay. Thank you.
But what I would like to share is anytime I think whether it is during, when it is during death, people need support, different kinds of support as they lose someone they love. It is emotional support. It is the practical support that they need in so many different ways, and the religious support. And yeah, there are so many questions people have
Mm-hmm.
in all their grief. What do we do? What are we not supposed to do? And as I said, being here, it is even more difficult. I'm not focusing my presentation totally on those that are here in the US. I'll get
Mm-hmm.
into that later, but these are what are generally done.
Okay.
And I would say the Hindu rituals are not something that remove grief, but they hold them. Because, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we say time heals, right? But I don't know if time really heals grief. What I would rather say is people heal themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but through ways they find meaningful in their life. And the Hindu tradition of death and its rituals have different ways, both religious practices and psychological means to assimilate the reality of death.
Uh-huh.
And Matilda, you being an instructor for my grief and bereavement course, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to touch back on some of them. I
Very
think
good.
I think the disbelief would be the first one
Mm-hmm.
that people have. And so the different rituals that we have address all of these, the emotional, the practical, the religious aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And also, honor the different stages of grief, as you will
Mm.
see through the presentation.
Okay.
And I would go through these 5 parts. How is it in the process when a person is departing? What are the things that are done then?
Yes.
Immediately after death, how is the body taken care of? And how are the departed supported? How are the living supported? Immediately, in the near future, and far into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the aspects that I'm going to say.
Great.
So, at the time of death, yes, ideally it would be to have the loved ones all around. It is very important for us to keep a calm and quiet space, which is an atmosphere of prayer and divinity.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a time when Hindus would want chanting of the name of God to be done at that time,
I see.
or the recitation of the holy texts.
Mm-hmm.
And why chant the name of God at that time, I will come to later,
Okay.
but that is very important. So, taking the name of God during the time of death. So, if that person is unable to, the people around will take the name of God. And usually, and one basic thing, let me ask you a question, Matilda. Do you
Uh-huh.
think Hinduism is polytheistic or monotheistic?
I think Hinduism is polytheistic, and I say that admitting I have a very, very rudimentary knowledge of Hindu traditions. Um, so am I right? Did I get it right?
I did want to bring this up.
Mm-hmm.
While we have a number of gods and goddesses that we pray to, the underlying is there is one God who is nameless, formless, omnipotent, and omnipresent, and because of that can take any name or form.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? So
Yes.
there is not one name that you would chant in the name of God, right? Or
No, it could
Mhm.
be any of the different gods that we or goddesses that we have,
Okay.
because in Hinduism, divinity is both male and female. It is
Hmm.
not just male.
Okay.
And but all the names are just props. Think of it like a flag is representative of the country, but
Hmm.
is not the country.
Right.
So each of the different names and forms can be construed as polytheistic, but the underlying substratum is the same.
Okay.
And so, why I brought it up now is because, yes, someone may chant the name of Rama, someone may chant the name of Shiva, someone may chant the name of Devi or the god, mother goddess, or they may just chant the letter Om, which
Hmm.
for us constitutes all the words that are possible in any language. Because when you chant Om, it starts deep inside. Om.
Mm-hmm.
And ends with the closing of the mouth. And any syllable that you form is between these two. So when
Okay.
we chant Om, the entire dictionary of any language is embedded in it.
Okay. That's beautiful,
So
Bindu.
thank you. Maybe I'm digressing a little, but I just wanted to.
No, I'm struck by how inclusive it already is. You know, even to the extent that you can chant the name of any god or goddess, and the fact that there are male and female gods and goddesses as well. As you know, that's not so common in many world religions.
Mhm. Yeah, in a way, the power, the word power, when translated into Sanskrit, is called Shakti. And
Hmm.
Shakti is female.
Hmm.
But anyway, so the other thing, so chanting the name of gods is very important. The other thing is at the time of death, two things are put in the mouth of a person.
Hmm.
One is the holy water from the river Ganges, which is considered the most sacred of all rivers for us.
Hmm.
or the leaf of a holy basil plant.
Okay.
Not the regular basil, but a different basil. It belongs to
Mm-hmm.
the same family, but different. And these two, if they are able to, that's okay. But even at the time of passing, even with all the tubes, it is more put in as a sign of representation of purity.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, the remembrance of God at the end is very important. So, why Ganga water, right? As I said, that river is considered the most sacred and it symbolizes a purification but also a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a remembrance and connection to the divine. If they can drink, they drink a spoon, they drink a few drops, otherwise, a few drops are just there.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you think this helps psychologically? The family is feeling helpless.
Right.
And this is where it starts. The psychological support
Mm-hmm.
starts here. They feel they are doing something. They feel
Yes.
they are helping their loved one when they chant the name of God, when they are able to help them move on by putting the whole leaf of the holy basil
Mm-hmm.
or a few drops of the Ganga water.
And
Because
Bindu,
each,
I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I was just going to say, I would imagine knowing that this is a tradition that has spanned what, thousands and thousands of years,
Mhm.
and that this is how dying people have been accompanied and honored for so long in Hindu
Mhm.
culture is also very helpful for the family too. That they feel that they are not just doing something, that they are doing something very, very holy and significant for the dying person.
Yes. Yes. And maybe time for another question for you, Matilda.
Okay.
How old do you think? And I'm sorry, uh, I didn't give you any warning that I was going to do this, but
That's
based on your
okay.
questions, how old do you think Hinduism is?
So I think Hinduism is 10,000 years old.
Yeah, right now, according to science, it's stuck. It is at 8, but studies
Uh-huh.
are being done to show it's over 15,000 years old.
Wow.
But
Wow.
we don't even call it Hinduism. We call it Sanatana Dharma.
Hmm.
Sanatana means eternal. So from the time creation happened, dharma, which is righteousness, the right way to live, or truly speaking, there is no English translation for the word. It means 15 words, but
Uh-huh.
also an essence of the thing, or an
Hmm.
essence of any person. And Hinduism believes the essence of humanity is divinity.
Hmm.
And the whole life is to know that you are divine, because if the divine is omnipotent and omnipresent, there cannot be anywhere the divine is not present.
Hmm.
But the divinity in us is shrouded by ignorance. And
Right.
each of these, the Ganga water, the Tulasi, is for that purity for us to know our divinity.
Hmm. It's kind of like in Buddhism, everyone has Buddha nature, but not everyone may have realized their own Buddha nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so while people may not know the exact verses,
Hmm.
this is sort of, I would say, inbuilt in every Hindu, this understanding.
Hmm.
And this is where I say it could be my interpretation, but most people would know this. The Bhagavad Gita is one of our main scriptures. We do not have one book like other religions. We have many scriptures. But the Bhagavad Gita is known as the essence of other books.
Hmm.
And in them are certain verses which talk about the eternal nature of the soul and the
Uh-huh.
dying. And people, whether do we quote them at the time of death, the Bhagavad Gita may or may not be read. But is this something that people have in them
Hmm.
as much as they know their own name, possibly? That, this is what is said. Will it
Okay.
help them at the time of death? Definitely no, because no one wants to lose a loved one.
Right.
But is it there behind? their mind? Is it there at the substratum of their thinking? Most probably. One
They
of
can
it
call
is,
upon it if they can call upon it for comfort.
yes, as I
Okay.
said, not at the time of death because no one wants that, right?
Right.
But this will come to them sometime. One of it is just as any person passes through childhood, youth, old age, disease, all of that. Similarly, the soul passes from one body to another.
Mm-hmm.
As Hindus, we believe in reincarnation and karma theory. And the reason we believe is the soul is divine and no different from the divine. But to know that, people may not know it immediately. Just
Mm-hmm.
like when you plant a seed and time is taken for you to eat the fruits of the seed that you planted. So you have to go through different stages. It needs to be watered. There's going to be rain. Or I keep eating. I'm going to put on weight. I may not put on weight overnight, but 10 years down the road, I'm definitely going to be obese.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, karma fructifies or knowledge fructifies over ages. And that is what it says. The next one, just as at the end of the day, I'm going to go home, change these clothes into something else, and tomorrow wear a different cloth. So also the soul discards this body and takes a new one when it's time to go to a different set of environment and teachings and learnings.
Bindu, can you explain a little bit? I feel like in this country, people are aware and feel they have an understanding of karma, but I think we don't really understand what karma truly means in the Hindu tradition. I think a lot of people think that karma is like, we say like, oh, that's bad karma to do that, sort of a very linear like you do something wrong and it will come back to haunt you.
Yeah. So, yes, that is a very superficial expression and understanding of you reap what you sow, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But my personal understanding of karma, and I'm not saying that is not there or people don't believe that, but my personal understanding of karma is it's a learning opportunity.
Hmm.
Think of it like a video game, right? If you die at one level in a video game and it says game over with no
Hmm.
chance of a redo, that's not nice. You know what? Mistakes can be made and good deeds can be done,
Hmm.
but I don't want to be judged for eternity based on that. So, karma, as I see it, is a learning opportunity
Hmm.
wherein you are given the same set of circumstances to learn from till you operate not from a place of selfishness, but from selfless love, which is what God is.
Hmm.
Till you understand that you are divinity.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And in a classroom, the star exams are there. If you don't do them well, you're going to do them again. So you
Hmm.
may repeat the same exams again and again till you get the material. That's not punishment, that's learning.
Right. I see. It's a very different way to view it. Yeah.
And because, again, like I said, the basis of Hinduism, of Advaita, is that man is divine. Tattvamasi, it is said. That is, you are that divine nature.
Hmm.
And you continue till you know your own divine nature.
Hmm.
But again, I've heard a saying, one of my Jewish friends said that two Jews and three opinions. I would say in Hinduism, one Hindu and multiple opinions.
Okay.
But then Hinduism is so open and wide because there are different interpretations and everything is based on time, place, and where you are at it, your understanding.
Okay.
The next one is, yes, the body is dead, but the body is gone, but the self is not. The self continues.
Hmm.
So there is a verse that says, weapons cannot cut the self, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, and wind cannot dry it. Basically saying, while it is made of the elements, the soul is beyond, the body is made of the elements, the soul is beyond the elements.
Okay.
And next, for one who's born, death is certain. For one who's died, birth is certain.
Mhm.
Talking of
That speaks to
reincarnation.
reincarnation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
And second, and the last one who remembers the divine at the final moment reaches the divine. And that is why, at the time of death, it is very much hope that they're able to listen to God, because they may be in pain. They may not remember God at that time because they're in pain.
Right.
The hope is that the loved ones around will be chanting so that that person's mind and heart is on the divine.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And these verses actually shape the Hindu understanding of death, the eternity, the eternal continuation of the soul, and the
Hmm.
remembrance.
Beautiful.
And I think I should go a bit quickly now so that we have time for
It's
questions.
fascinating. I mean, I'm learning. So I had a rudimentary knowledge, but I'm learning so much. And my next question was going to be, how does the treatment of the body after death impact the soul's journey?
Yes. So I'm going to talk about the cremation. I'm talking about the soul's journey and the family's journey.
Perfect.
Okay. So, yes, we believe in cremation. There are some exceptions to the rules. The reason for cremation is the body is made up of the five elements, and the body is prepared before cremation. I am talking at a very high level, not going too much into details too, considering
Hmm.
that all of that is not going to be possible at the given time. So the body is prepared just like we prepare for anything. When we go into a church, we dress Sunday best, right?
Hmm.
We do not believe in embalming the body. We believe that the body should be cremated within the same day or within 24 hours, if possible.
Hmm.
There are some exceptions to cremation, but the idea is the body is a sacred gift of the elements, and by cremating, we are offering it back to the elements. I think the similar version of ashes to ashes.
Right. What would be the exceptions to cremation?
Someone who is still young, under 2 years of age,
Hmm.
or in some cultures, 6 or 7, because they have not garnered any karma in this life. Or
Okay.
karma is again action and the results of action.
Hmm.
Energy cannot be destroyed, created or destroyed. Similarly, any action you do,
Hmm.
there is going to be a result of that action. And same time, someone who is a renunciate again has no karma attached, so they may be the exceptions.
So, what would happen, say, to a 2-year-old who was not going to be cremated?
They can be buried.
Okay.
They can be buried. And at that time, while there are many chants and prayers, one prayer stands out. At least for me, it's very meaningful. Where when the cremation is happening, it is chanted like in Sanskrit, but I'll tell the English version. May the sight be returned to the sun, because the ability to see is attributed to the sun and light, breath to the air, and the body returned to the elements.
Mm-hmm.
So each of it is very ritualistic, but also very meaningful, environment friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hinduism does not see the different aspects as separate.
Okay.
Everything is divine.
Mm-hmm.
From the human to the animal to nature, everything is part of divinity. There is nothing, because God cannot be separate from his creation. God is
Mm-hmm.
part of his creation. Because otherwise, if there is something separate from God, how is God omnipotent and omnipresent?
Right.
And after cremation, in some cultures, when they go home, they step on a hard stone before they go in. And again, there is another verse that says, "May I remain steady and unshaken like the stone." Think of
Oh.
it as modern day affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
People need strength at that time.
Yes.
So, yes, we honor the body, return it to cosmos. It came from nature, it goes back to nature. And at the same time, the way the cremation is done, there are four people who go like pallbearers, and each of it offers meaning to the family.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come back, and
And
next,
it's a known ritual that the family can engage in and draw comfort from. They likely have participated in this ritual before for others.
mhm, mhm,
So they are familiar with it. It feels comfortable and expected.
yes.
Okay.
And at the same time, it addresses the stage of denial.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to deny something so obvious? The
Right.
rituals make sure there is no chance of denial.
Mm-hmm.
There is acceptance, but there is support, as you will see. So, bereavement is not a day or 3 days. There is a structured 13-day mourning period.
Mm-hmm.
So, day one would be cremation. Day two would be collection of the ashes for immersion.
Mm-hmm.
What is believed is there is a physical body, a subtle body, and a causal body. But after death, there is a temporary subtle body that is created to
Mm-hmm.
go onward onto the next part of the journey. And so day 3 to 9 is where families continue. There's prayer, there's offerings. And during these 13 days, the family does not cook in the house. There is no cooking done
Okay.
in the house. There is community. They do not light the fire or the stove in the house at the gas at during these mourning period. Others come in to help and
Mm-hmm.
provide food. So there is family always there. And the family really does not go out during these 13 days. Why?
Uh-huh.
Think of it again as a safety measure.
Mm.
Sometimes the terms used are they are impure at that time, but think of it also. Are they in any position to make decisions at that time, go out?
Right.
It is a very emotional time.
Mm-hmm.
They are there in the house. People provide everything they need, and people are there with them. And in the 13 days, each of the rituals again have very deep meanings. The way of the remembrance,
Mm-hmm.
the way they're talking about the person. And stories, more and more and more, they are told, the grief, I won't say reduces, but it becomes real, and acceptance generally creeps in slowly because you're
Mm-hmm.
telling the same thing. And the 13-day period is very much part of it.
Right.
And then 10 to 12 are where during the 12th day, the person is no longer considered as part of a subtle body. They have reached their ancestors.
Okay.
So each day, 10, 11, and 12 again have different rituals associated with them, where people from the same family come, people with the paternal lineage come in. So all of that is done.
Mm-hmm.
And then after all of it, on the 13th day, is a day when everything can sort of get back to normal. And so at that time, again, everyone comes. All that day, the favorite foods of the person are made. There is honoring, and it is a slow return back to daily life.
Mm-hmm. And the
But
rest of the community knows that this is the time that the family will slowly begin to reintegrate into the larger community.
Yes, but again, that is again very slow because we have a lot of rituals during the
Hmm.
first year after death.
Hmm.
So this is the first year after death. So every month, but this is again maybe a bit different in different communities.
Hmm.
Every month on the day of the death, not the solar day, but we follow a lunar calendar. On that day, we have a ritual that is done.
Uh-huh.
And every month after that, on the
Okay.
lunar death day.
Hmm.
Then on the sixth month, a little longer ritual is done. And again, 7 to 11 months it continues. And then on the first year anniversary, all family ideally join back together.
Hmm.
Why does the first year matter? And this is where it is very structured. The rituals, the grief rituals are very structured. These are all the triggers, right? Nowadays,
Yeah.
modern day grief books have all of this. What are the triggers? The
Mm-hmm.
death day, the birthday, the holy days, the anniversaries, the special events, a child going to college, a child graduating,
Hmm.
or a birth date, all triggers.
So there's
And
a scaffolding built in
mhm,
around these first year triggers.
yes, yes. And so they are not expected to go to all, join into the general society full force. They are given time to go at their pace if they want or no. Generally, the first year, people do not go out because what will happen? I
Mm.
go to someone else's marriage. I'm going to sit there and cry.
Right. Right.
I'm going to go into another child's graduation when, with my child's graduation, I'm going to miss
Hmm.
the person who is no longer there. So not only are we making it hard, more hard for ourselves, we're also making it hard for the people around.
Right.
And we may not be ready for that. We want to
Hmm.
deal with all these things, not in private because you're having company during all these days.
Hmm.
So it gives grief a rhythm. It
Yes.
creates a cycle and time for remembering them. It also gives the person time for prayer because the prayers are built in. Certain people of the community are expected to be there during each of these times.
Uh-huh.
So they're not alone.
Right. So much community support and acknowledgement. And I would also say, Bindu, that this reduces decision making for the family during this time. And as we know, decision fatigue in grief is like a big element to emotional overwhelm. So the expectations are very clear. The family knows what the community expects from them, and the community knows what the family expects of them.
Yes. And in many cases, like I said, we have festivals nearly every month. The festivals are not celebrated that year.
Hmm.
And actually, even economic stability is built in because the first year in most of our communities, we do not wear new clothes.
Oh.
Marriages for the son are not done in the first year.
Hmm.
Festivals and anything which is, this is how I see it. Economically, all that expenditure is also cut down.
Uh-huh.
Emotionally, like you said, the scaffolding is there emotionally and psychologically. Spiritually, it is a time of prayer. And another
Hmm.
very big thing, guilt is taken care of because you feel you're doing something for your loved one.
Yes. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
isolation is taken care of.
Hmm.
So this is the first year after death, but it does not stop there.
Hmm.
There is an annual remembrance every year on the day of the death.
Hmm.
Rites, there are again rituals that are performed.
Hmm.
Another thing is during all these, it is not just that person who is remembered. but 2 generations above.
Okay.
So if I am doing a death ritual for my father, I'm doing it for my father, my grandfather, and my great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
A multitude of reasons for this. I'll just touch on two. One is grounding, you know your base.
Mm-hmm.
Two is time. We don't know the concept of time after death. For us now, here, there is a year, there is a month, there's a week, there is a day, there's 24 hours, there's
Mm-hmm.
60 minutes and 60 seconds. How does this time work in your dream?
Mm-hmm.
You're sleeping for X number of hours, but you may be traversing number of days or years in your dream.
Right.
What do we know how time is after death?
Uh-huh.
So we don't know how long a person is there in the ancestral realm before they come back again.
Uh-huh.
So we want to make sure we honor them.
Right. Just in case they
Yes.
haven't.
So they
Mm-hmm.
get the rituals, they get the prayers, they get the gratitude. And coming to
Okay.
gratitude, that is a very major. You are always remembering that whatever you are is not just by you.
Mm-hmm.
You have gratitude. And
Yeah.
gratitude itself is healing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very healing. That's why we're always instructed to have a gratitude journal, right? Because it
Mhm.
heals us to feel
Yes.
grateful and recognize our gratitude.
So, yeah, so there is an annual remembrance. And then in some cultures, every new moon, some people offer remembrance. And then there is a time of 14 days in a year where again that time is given to honoring ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And charity and memorial giving are very much there. Prayers, feeding others during that time, or service. So, yeah, how does it help? Keeps memory alive in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude strengthens the family's grounding.
Yes.
They don't feel lost, they don't feel untethered. These are all words we hear in grief work.
Mm-hmm.
It provides grounding and it provides continuing bonds, but also urging them to move forward because they're doing things.
Right. And there is like a set out structure for them to move forward,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to
But again,
slowly
as
reintegrate into society. And
yes, but as I said, practices vary by region, tradition, and family custom.
mm-hmm.
And here I've just said the stages of grief and how
Yeah.
Hindu rituals. So, whether it is shock, initially the cremation, each of them are structured to overcome the denial.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are angry, but you're doing something. Anger also comes from helplessness.
Yes.
Anger and bargaining come from helplessness. You're doing something, you're forced into gratitude because of the rituals, which call upon the gratitude because they call upon everything that they've been done.
Mm-hmm.
And your connection with God is not lost because it's also built in.
Right.
Your mind may not be with God. You may be angry with God, but your connection is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And bargaining, when you're doing something, again, it comes from guilt, but did I do everything I can do? Or, you know what, maybe I didn't do anything. Let me do this fully. It sorts of
Right.
helps.
Uh-huh.
So the
It's a
guilt
second
question.
chance in a way.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So being able to carry out these rituals for someone who has died is really a second chance. If you have regrets about things maybe that were undone, you can say, I will honor them fully
Mm-hmm.
according to our traditions.
And then depression, yeah, but there's a 13-day mourning period, and the people who are constantly there and
Hmm.
making sure self care is done, of at least eating. And yes, in some traditions, they don't sleep on the bed, they're very careful and all of that. But who wants to have comfort and gaiety? Because every comfort you do again will lead to guilt. So
Hmm.
some of it is again built in.
Right.
And the acceptance and meaning comes year after year as you do it. And there is no chance of isolation. I won't say there's no chance, but isolation is also built in. So though
Mm-hmm.
the 5 stages are there, I've also included guilt and isolation because they are very real too. As I said, these rituals don't erase grief,
Mm-hmm.
but they help us carry grief with meaning, remembrance, and with community.
Yes, and I would say they give a shape to grief.
Mm-hmm.
They, again, about reducing decision making, they allow someone to relax into a well known rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the support and the participation of the community is so important.
Yes. And that is just one other verse I wanted to end with.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually, I think in very old ages, in the Vedic period, women used to go into the cremation ground.
Mm-hmm.
That stopped somewhere in between. So
Okay.
this verse is more relative to that. And this is a Hindu teaching about priorities, what remains and what goes onward.
Mm-hmm.
It says, wealth stays on earth, the wife at the doorway. You can read it as the spouse, people at the cremation ground, family at the cremation ground, the
Mm-hmm.
body on the pyre, funeral. Only the soul goes onward, accompanied by karma or one's deeds.
Mm-hmm.
So it teaches detachment,
Mm-hmm.
honors relationships, but shows boundaries.
It's an acceptance of the separation, which talking about denial and just driving home the fact this is what funeral rites in general are really meant to do, Bindu, as you know, is to make it a reality that the person has died.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it reminds us that what we do in this life and earth matters. So giving us a meaning and purpose
Mm-hmm.
and how to live your life. And
Yes.
I want to end there.
Oh, Bindu, this is so informative. And so the question that I have, and it gets back to what I was asking in the beginning is what happens when there is no community for, let's say, a new family here in the United States from India? How will they be supported, or how will they, if they don't have the larger community, recreate this experience for themselves?
Yes, it is very difficult here because there are a lot of challenges people face. Because first thing, cremation may not be done immediately.
Hmm.
We need a death certificate first, right?
Right.
So there may be delays, or but the temples are there, the priests are there, but they're not as readily available
Hmm.
as one would want. So yes, it is difficult. And right now, the only way they would do is go to a temple or priest in the area, but not all priests do the death rituals.
Hmm.
So again, that would be something that is a challenge.
Right.
But I'm hoping that, like, as we get more people into the spiritual care practice, these are challenges we can face because to say there are no challenges would not be true. There are a lot of challenges around death and dying here.
Hmm.
It's the difficulty and the challenges are the logistics, the policies, the
Right.
unfamiliarity. Because if you're saying someone who's young has come here, they don't know because traditionally parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts take care of it. It's built in
Right.
into the system. But here it's not built into the system.
Right.
So
Right.
just unfamiliarity with all of this would be a challenge.
Yeah. Do you think that that there, even for, like, let's say, hospital administrators, or even, like cemetery operators, crematorium operators, is there a respect for um the uniqueness of the traditions, like even if they are not necessarily familiar with the traditions, they want to meet families and help them recreate things as closely as possible. Do you feel that there's that kind of sensitivity?
Here in Frisco, there are 2 or 3 funeral homes, which
Hmm.
I would suggest for people who want to do this because they are familiar with the rituals the priest would come and do.
Right, right,
But if there are a set of 25 funeral homes, do we suggest all of them? For Hindu families, no. We suggest
right.
these 2 or 3.
Right. And do you find, is witness cremation readily available? I mean, here in this country, when we speak of witness cremation, we don't talk about actually witnessing the cremation itself. It's usually watching the deceased be put into what is called the retort, which is the
Yes.
cremation. Yeah. So there,
And
so
that's
th-
what is possible. So the funeral pyre, like in India, is not available.
right.
So a lot of things are not available here, but I mean, when we choose to come here, there are some things that are going to be different.
Hmm.
And one thing I didn't touch upon is the ashes are ideally taken back to Ganga, to the river
Hmm.
Ganga in Kashi or Varanasi and put there. But sometimes it may not be possible, but I think most Indian families, Hindu families, would do that.
Uh-huh. So if it wasn't possible, what would they do? Would they have them at home, or would they is I mean,
No.
I don't I
We,
definitely, it feels almost insensitive to say this, but would another body of water and the absence of being able to get over to the Ganges, would that ever
yes.
substitute?
Yes. In India, if it is not the Ganges, there are other rivers, but I guess here a river or a sea would work.
Hmm.
But I know my mother passed in UK and we did take the ashes to India. We would
Hmm.
not keep the ashes at home for extended periods now.
Right. Right. This is so fascinating, Bindu. And, for someone like me that grew up in a Western culture, very death denying culture, and none, none death so hidden, none of this acknowledgement and community support around coming to terms with it, and these formalized rituals to kind of mark the time, right? Which, as we know, in grief is so important. Marking time
Mhm.
is very important, not only to, keep stressing the reality of the loss, but also to give the grieving person a sense that time is moving forward. They're not stuck, even if they feel like they're stuck.
Mhm. Yeah, and I will say this, I have barely scratched the surface.
Mm, yeah. Well, this was wonderful, Bindu. I mean, really eye-opening for me. Um,
Thank you.
and again, I'm struck by the care around all of these rituals and um, the intentionality of them, that everything serves a purpose.
Yes, yes.
Before
No,
we
it is
finish,
very
I did
special
have
for me.
one question
Sorry.
as well. Oh, you're good. I was just wondering, Bindu, you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation, the 3 types of grief support: emotional, practical, and religious. And I was just wondering, in your experience as a chaplain, if there was one that you noticed was more neglected in the grief process.
I mean, as I said, I've sort of touched because there is the rituals itself sort of address all 4 existential limits that all humans face. One is fear of death, the process of death, the scriptures that are read then, while it is very real, because of the way we understand it, we also know it is not a final end. It is, if your work is over at one part, there is something else remaining. So the fear of death is addressed. The second existential limit that everyone faces is threat of loneliness or social isolation. That is taken care of very much here.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying people will not have it, because you have lost that one special person who may mean the world to you. But to the extent possible, knowing death is a certainty in all our lives, that social isolation or loneliness is taken care through these rituals. Next is the threat of loss of control. And like Matilda said, decision fatigue is very true. So sometimes, yes, they're facing the loss of control in terms of death, but that's why the rituals help.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there are times when we don't want that control. And there is a safety net for you to fall back on. And the fourth existential limit, purpose or meaning. For the living person, the purpose or meaning, especially in the first 13 days, is I have to do this for my loved one.
Mm-hmm.
When they have lost their meaning and purpose, the purpose and meaning is already there for them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge, Bindu.
Yeah. So is there different kinds of support beyond this? Yes. But I would want to address just the four existential limits and how the Hindu rituals address these four existential limits.
Thank you both so much. This was a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Bindu. I can't thank you enough for your time and that beautiful presentation, which, in addition to being so informative, was literally eye candy. Like it was so beautiful to look at.
Yes.
Thank you, Matilda, and
Yeah,
thank you,
thank you.
Abigail. And I really am appreciative of Merchant House for giving this opportunity, because I think we as a community don't go out and speak so much, but when there is more knowledge, I feel more support will come in and more
Yes.
understanding. So I am really grateful for this opportunity that you have given to me to speak about something that is extremely meaningful and personal for me. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Yes, I think that's all the time we have for this evening. But just to quickly wrap up, as many of you know, the house is currently in the midst of a large-scale exterior restoration project. The house is hidden by scaffolding, but we are still open to the public. The museum is open on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, with options for both guided and self-guided tours. And we hope to see you all soon. Please stay in touch, follow us on social media, and share our posts to tell your friends and family about us. Tonight's talk, like all our virtual programs, will be posted on our YouTube page, youtube.com/merchantshousemuseum. And tonight's program was presented free of charge, but we hope that you will consider making a donation, especially as we continue our now 14-year battle to protect the house from catastrophic damage from proposed development next door. You can donate online at merchantshouse.org/support. So thank you again for joining us this evening. Thank you to Bindu and Matilda for being here, and I hope everyone has a wonderful night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
again,
you.
Bindu.
Thank
Bye.
you, Matilda. Thank you, Abigail. Bye bye.